I meant perhaps beloved ones of God, beloved brothers and sisters, to start. And I really mean it. Because sometimes one wonders if the person is am I talking loud enough?
A little loud.
You know, I can't judge for myself the volume of my voice and stuff. Louder?
I listen now.
Better now? There is a book which is called Once Upon a Time. I don't make any money out of it, so don't think that I have some interest in saying what I'm saying. But in that book, there are precious stories of the olden days in Israel. And there are stories which would be difficult for me to put into words, but easier to put them, to write them down. They have been written down. The only way you can get that book is through the headquarters if you move. If you wish to have it, just ask Amina and she will. Does it exist anymore in English?
Yes, sir.
It's published in Holland. Before I start, I would be happy to answer any questions so that I know in what direction to go.
Would you please speak about Begum Ameena?
Well, no, I did the other day. I did say, I did tell a few stories. Is there, who was here who were not present when I told a few stories? So I will have to tell them again, is that right? Will I not?
They want you to speak about her.
I have a question. You spoke a lot about the hardships that she endured. Can you
say it louder?
You spoke a lot about the hardships that your mother endured.
Yeah.
Can you speak a little bit about the happy times that you enjoyed?
Well, of course, how can a mother ever be happier than to have 4 children? But all, among which at least one was very, very difficult to handle. So, of course, as we all know, there's this American word, the mother's love is the only love that is really free of charge. It's not exactly, there's an uncle for right words, but what are the right words? What it means? Huh?
Good enough.
That's close enough.
That means that, of course, however difficult life is for a mother, if she has children, that is her greatest happiness. Is that a good answer? Yeah. Okay.
That's a good start.
Pardon?
That's only a good start. I don't think it's a complete answer. I'm not satisfied.
Difficult pupil.
How about events, something that happened? Just some event that happened.
Event?
Yeah.
Well, in itself, I think it's a great event that the father and mother came together. That was a miracle. You want to know something about it?
Yes.
Yes.
I haven't already told it last time. I've tried to tell it again, perhaps adding a little bit more color to it.
Good.
Because each time one tells a story, one tells it in a different shading. My father was, the fame of my father as a musician came to the attention of Mary Baker Eddy. Does anybody of you know who is Mary Baker Eddy?
Yes.
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 And she thought it would be interesting, a good, wonderful event to invite a great musician from India to come and offer Indian music for the first time in America. This is an historical fact. It was the first time that Indian music was ever introduced in America. And that was in the Hindu temple in San Francisco, which does not exist anymore, has been broken down. But I did have the privilege of visiting it a few years ago, just before it was broken down. We all know the story. You can find it in the biography if you don't know it. The yogi was, of course, happy to have for the Hindu temple to have been hired for that occasion, was unhappy of the fact that the musician was Muslim. And in those days, it was hardly possible for a Muslim to play music in a Hindu temple. Is it done today? It is. I didn't know that. So of course, he said to the musician, well, half an hour, that will be all right. Now we all know, and I think you more than anybody else, that it takes more than half an hour to tune the Veena. So of course, Hazrat Inayat Khan always said, whatever happened, he always said, it will be all right, it will be all right. That was one of his leitmotifs. He constantly do whatever happened, whether it was good or bad, he always said, it will be all right. He was very optimistic. And it did come all right. It's very important to remember. It's perhaps a very good lesson. Whatever trouble one has, well, it will come all right. And sometimes it does. Not always. Perhaps later. So what did he do? He only sang Hindu music, and the most sacred music, with such devotion and such beauty that the audience of Hindus were so tremendously, deeply moved, and they just went on saying, we want more, we want more, we want more, and it went on and went on and went on. And the yogi said, I have never heard a Hindu musician playing as beautifully our sacred songs as you Muslims have offered us. He did write a letter which is to be found in the biography. And Mary Baker Eddy came with her niece. Was a young girl, blonde hair, blue eyes, and the magic happened. She fell in love.
Shouldn't we say they fell in love?
Her name is Ora Ray Baker, a young girl from California, the niece of Judge Baker, who was that famous judge in Albuquerque. There's a huge statue of Judge Baker in Albuquerque, was her uncle. And they owned acres and acres of the whole area of Santa Barbara and Santa Ana, and all that area was mostly belonged to that Baker family. But in those days, it was just impossible to imagine an Indian and an American. There was such a tremendous racial problem nobody here would ever imagine how strict it was. And the life of Hazrat Inayat Khan was threatened over and over again, of course. Hazrat Inayat left America, went to London with a clever girl. You know, young American girls are very clever. I don't know if you know that, but I do. Found among the papers that he left, you know, Indians are not always very orderly. And if you know that, the address of the House of Baroda. And so she wrote to the family, found the address, got the address, jumped into a ship. In those days, passports did not exist, and knocked at the door. Here I am. What a tremendous energy. What a tremendous courage.
Have they been corresponding? Have they been writing?
No.
And had
No,
he
no.
declared himself to her?
Look, in those days there was no email. Well, letters took a month or more to reach America from Europe. No, she just went. She didn't know what she would, what to expect. She just left her family and of course.
Asha, I think what Asha was trying to ask is, hadn't Hazrat Inayat Khan expressed something to her to give her the sense that he would receive her?
I'm sorry, I didn't understand what you said.
Hadn't Hazrat Inayat Khan expressed something to her when they were together of the similar affection, so she would have a reason to come to Europe?
When they were in America together.
No, of course not. No.
No, she was an uppity young woman.
Just said to her, well, this just can't work because it's not possible. She was an Indian musician, and this was an American young girl that in those days it was just impossible to imagine that anything could develop in any way. But she had that dream, and she just left. And there's a story to that. Hazrat Inayat Khan tells the story himself, that she dreamt that she saw a sage, and she described that sage. And Hazrat Khan said to her, well, that's the picture of my Murshid. Now, I think that many of you know that the Murshid of Hazrat Inayat Khan said, go to the west and unite the east and west with your music and with your message. So somehow there was this force which brought them together, an unknown force. Don't know if you understand what I'm saying. I'm trying to be clear while being unclear. And this is a very important thing, because all right, you might say her love was so strong that she just left everything, an extremely well-to-do family, and just went to Europe knowing that there would be nothing there.